Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare 1-cent coins, because some of these coins are rare among collectors and are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving deep into a coin you might have overlooked in your spare change or old piggy bank, the humble yet fascinating 1961 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. But don't be fooled by its ordinary appearance, because this little copper beauty could be worth more than you ever imagined. Now, if you're thinking, it's just a penny from the 60s, how valuable could it be? Then stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are going wild over certain 1961 Lincoln pennies. And if you're lucky enough to have one with a rare feature or error, you might just be sitting on a hidden fortune. Let's begin with a bit of background. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, has been a beloved part of American coinage since 1909. It was created to honor the legacy of President Abraham Lincoln, and its iconic design has become a symbol of American resilience and history. By 1961, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 50 years, and millions were struck that year. Most were used in everyday transactions, passed through hands, dropped into vending machines, and tucked into coin jars across the country. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1961 pennies were created equal. The majority of 1961 Lincoln cents were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. You can tell which mint it came from by looking just under the date. If there's a little D, it means it was struck in Denver. If there's no letter, it was made in Philadelphia. While billions were minted in total, collectors have discovered that some 1961 pennies contain rare minting errors, variations, or other unique traits that make them incredibly valuable today. Let's talk about those special features. First, there's the concept of mint errors. During the minting process, mistakes occasionally happen, and while that might sound like a problem, in the world of coin collecting, it's actually gold. Some 1961 pennies were double-struck, meaning the die hit the coin more than once. This results in a blurred or duplicated image, especially around Lincoln's profile or the lettering. If you've ever seen a coin where the words seem slightly doubled or offset, that might be a double die error, and that's exactly what collectors are after. Another type of error is known as an off-center strike, where the coin wasn't aligned correctly during the minting process. These off-center coins show part of the design missing, and the blank metal space makes it easy to spot. The more dramatic the off-center error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there are planchet errors, where the metal blank used to make the coin was defective or wrong in some way. Imagine a copper penny that was struck on a silver-colored dime blank. That kind of mix-up can turn an ordinary coin into a prized collector's item. But it's not just errors that make the 1961 Lincoln penny special. The condition of the coin plays a massive role too. Most pennies from 1961 are worn down, scratched, or tarnished from decades of use. But finding one in mint state, meaning it was never circulated and remains in pristine, like new condition, is extremely rare. These coins are graded on a scale by professionals, and if a 1961 Lincoln cent receives a high grade, like MS 65 or higher, it can be worth far more than face value. So, why do collectors love this coin so much? It's the perfect storm of nostalgia, history, and rarity. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in the world, and for collectors, having a rare variation of this classic piece is like owning a slice of American history. It's small, but it tells a story of the past, of craftsmanship, and of the hidden value that lies in ordinary places. And now, here's the part you've been waiting for. Imagine rummaging through a box of old coins or an inherited collection from your grandparents and finding a 1961 Lincoln penny with a rare double die error, in pristine uncirculated condition, graded by a professional at the highest level. If you're holding a coin like that, it might not just be a collector's item, it could be your ticket to an incredible payday. Because some of these extremely rare and valuable 1961 Lincoln pennies have sold at auction for as much as $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. 83,000 US dollars. All from a coin that started its life as just 1 cent. So the next time you're sorting through your spare change, take a moment to check those dates. Pull out that magnifying glass, look for the mint marks, inspect the details. You never know what treasure might be hiding in your hands. It might seem like just another penny, but it could be a rare piece of American history worth tens of thousands. Top 2, we're uncovering the secrets of a simple-looking coin that just might surprise you. The 1963 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. Yes, we're talking about that small copper coin you've probably seen hundreds of times. But what if I told you that one special version of the 1963 Lincoln cent could be worth more than most people's cars, or even more than some people's homes? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll find out exactly what makes certain 1963 pennies extremely valuable, and why collectors are willing to pay a small fortune for just one. This is a story of errors, rarity, and a little coin that made a big impact. Now let's set the scene. The year is 1963. John F. Kennedy is president, Beatlemania is just beginning to take shape, and the Lincoln cent is still one of the most widely circulated coins in America. Minted since 1909, the Lincoln penny was already a beloved symbol of American currency. In 1963, the U.S. Mint produced these pennies in two primary locations: Philadelphia, which left no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small D just below the date. At first glance, the 1963 Lincoln penny looks just like any other. Made primarily of copper, with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's a classic design, simple and timeless. But as every serious collector knows, it's not about what's common, it's about what's rare. And that's where the story gets interesting. You see, while billions of 1963 pennies were made, only a tiny fraction have the unique characteristics that send collectors into a frenzy. The true value in these coins lies in a few critical factors: condition, rarity, and perhaps most exciting, minting errors. Let's start with condition. Coins that have been handled, dropped, or used in everyday transactions for decades usually show signs of wear, scratches, fading, dull surfaces. But once in a while, a 1963 penny turns up in what's called mint state, a coin that looks as fresh and perfect as the day it was made. These coins are graded by experts on a scale from 1 to 70, with anything above 65 considered a gem. The higher the grade, the more the coin is worth. So if you have a 1963 penny that looks flawless, with a bright surface and sharp details, you could be looking at something special. But condition is just the beginning. Now we get into the real treasure. The rare minting errors point. One of the most valuable types of error is the double die, where the design on the coin was stamped twice, just slightly off from the first impression. This results in letters or numbers that appear doubled, particularly around the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date. These double die pennies are extremely desirable, and if you have one from 1963, you could be holding a very rare piece indeed. Another error that adds value is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design missing or shifted dramatically. The more off-center it is, especially without cutting off Lincoln's face, the higher the value. Then there are die cracks, cuds, and planchet flaws, technical terms for various kinds of mistakes in the coin-making process. Sometimes the metal blank had a defect. Other times the die that stamped the coin had a chip or crack, leaving strange lines or bumps in the finished coin. These errors, though accidental, turn ordinary coins into collector's gold. Even more exciting are the coins struck on the wrong metal. There are rumors and very rare documented cases where pennies were struck on dime planchets or other foreign metal blanks. Imagine a penny that looks silver instead of copper. That's the kind of mystery that collectors dream about. Now let's not forget the human side of collecting. For many numismatists, the 1963 Lincoln penny represents more than just a coin. It's a connection to history, a relic of mid-century America, and a puzzle to solve. Every collector remembers the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary place: a pocket, a change jar, or a forgotten drawer. And maybe, just maybe, that thrill will be yours. Because if you happen to have a 1963 Lincoln penny with a rare double die error, or struck on the wrong planchet, or preserved in pristine condition straight from the mint, then you could be sitting on something truly incredible. Point one such coin. Confirmed by experts and authenticated by top grading services, sold at auction for a jaw-dropping price. That little copper penny, just 1 cent to the average person, brought in a grand total of $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. 80,000 US dollars. All for a coin you might overlook in your own pocket change. So what are you waiting for? Grab that old coin jar, pull out your magnifying glass, and start inspecting those pennies. You never know when a simple cent from 1963 could become the rare treasure that changes your life. Top 3, we're going back to 1964, an unforgettable year in American history, and shining a spotlight on a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times, but may have never looked at closely enough. That's right, we're talking about the 1964 Lincoln penny. Now before you toss this coin aside thinking, it's just another old penny, let me stop you right there. Because hidden among the billions of Lincoln cents minted that year are some rare, unusual, and downright mysterious versions that are worth far more than you'd ever expect. Some are so valuable, they've turned average people into lucky finders of small fortunes, and if you stick with me until the end of this video, you'll find out exactly how much one of these incredible coins is worth, and trust me, it's going to blow your mind. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln cent, featuring the unmistakable image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, has been a staple of American currency since 1909. It's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, and for good reason. But in 1964, the penny carried a little extra historical weight. The country was in the middle of social and political change. The Civil Rights Act had just been signed, and America was preparing to enter a new era. And while people were watching the headlines, the U.S. Mint was busy striking more than 6 billion pennies. Yes, billion with a B. Most of those coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with Denver-minted pennies carrying a small D beneath the date. On the surface, the 1964 penny doesn't look much different from the years before or after. It's made mostly of copper, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, a design that was still fairly new at the time. But here's the thing, not all 1964 pennies are created equal. What makes some of these coins incredibly valuable isn't just their age, it's their condition, their rarity, and, most importantly, their errors. These minting mistakes are what collectors dream about. And trust me, the 1964 Lincoln cent has its fair share of them. Let's talk about some of the errors that make this coin go from common to collectible. First up, the legendary double die error. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, but not perfectly aligned. The result? You'll see doubled letters, numbers, or even parts of Lincoln's face. If you've got a 1964 penny where the word Liberty or In God We Trust looks slightly shadowed or duplicated, you might be looking at a double die error. These coins are extremely rare and can be worth thousands on their own. Next, there's the off-center strike, where the coin isn't perfectly aligned when it's stamped. This creates a dramatic look, with part of the design missing and a large blank area taking its place. The more off-center the strike, without losing key features like Lincoln's profile, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another rare error is when the coin is struck on the wrong planchet, that is, the wrong metal blank. In some very rare cases, a penny might be struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, making it lighter, thinner, or even silver in appearance. These kinds of mistakes are rare and highly desirable to serious collectors. And then there are smaller, but still valuable flaws, die cracks, cuds, or lamination errors. These can create bumps, missing pieces, or strange textures on the coin's surface. To a casual observer, they might look like damage, but to a collector, they're signs of a minting anomaly, and that means value. But let's not forget about condition. A 1964 penny that's been sitting in someone's pocket or cash register for decades probably isn't going to fetch much. But one that's been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where things really start to get exciting. High-grade coins that look brand new, even after 60 years, are highly sought after and can fetch serious money at auction, especially if they also have a rare error. So how do you know if your 1964 penny is worth something? First, check for a mint mark under the date. Then, grab a magnifying glass or even a phone camera and inspect the letters and numbers. Look for any signs of doubling, cracks, unusual markings, or an off-center appearance. If anything looks unusual, it's worth taking a closer look, or even sending it to a professional grading service. For collectors, the 1964 Lincoln penny is a perfect blend of history, artistry, and mystery. It's a coin that many people overlook, but those who know what to look for understand that hidden treasures can come in the smallest packages. And this is exactly why coin collecting is so exciting. You never know when a tiny copper coin could change your life. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. There have been rare instances where a 1964 Lincoln penny, featuring a dramatic double die error and graded in exceptional mint state condition, has been sold at public auction for an astonishing amount. That one small coin, weighing just over 3 grams, brought in a total of $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. 79,000 US dollars. All for a penny that most people would toss into a jar without a second thought. So don't overlook those old pennies. Dig through your change, your drawers, your old jars. You might just be holding a piece of history and a fortune in the palm of your hand. Top 4, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American currency, one that most people overlook every day without knowing it might be worth far more than a single cent. That's right, we're talking about the 1966 Lincoln penny. This isn't just any old copper coin. Hidden among the millions produced that year are a few rare gems, coins with mistakes, variations, and flawless condition that make collectors sit up, take notice, and open their wallets. So if you've got a stash of old pennies or maybe a jar full of coins from your grandparents' attic, listen closely, because what we're about to uncover could change the way you look at your spare change forever. Let's set the scene. The year is 1966. The United States is in the midst of great social change. The Vietnam War is escalating, the civil rights movement is marching forward, and the coin world? Well, it was going through its own transformation. Just 1 year earlier, the U.S. Mint had removed silver from dimes and quarters. The country was shifting its coinage materials and trying to keep up with massive demand. As a result, the Mint made some unique decisions in 1966, one of which affected the Lincoln penny. One major detail that sets 1966 pennies apart from many other years is the absence of mint marks. That's right, whether the coin was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, none of the 1966 pennies carry a mint mark. Why? Because the U.S. Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 as a way to discourage coin hoarding during the coin shortage. So right off the bat, this penny stands out for being part of a historically unusual era. Now, let's talk about what makes some 1966 Lincoln pennies extraordinary. The first factor is condition. Most pennies from this time are scratched, dull, or damaged from decades of circulation. But every now and then, a 1966 penny is found in what collectors call mint state, a coin that looks as fresh as the day it was struck. These coins have never been used in everyday transactions, and their sharp details, rich luster, and perfect surfaces make them incredibly valuable. But even more exciting than condition are the errors. Those unexpected mistakes made during the minting process that turn an ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Let's go over some of the most sought-after errors you might find on a 1966 Lincoln penny. First, there's the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is stamped more than once by the die, but slightly misaligned. The result? Duplicated letters and numbers, especially noticeable around the words Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. These coins are rare and immediately grab the attention of serious collectors. If your 1966 penny shows doubling in any of these areas, you could be holding something truly special. Next is the off-center strike, where the coin blank wasn't perfectly aligned during production. This leads to a coin where part of the design is pushed to the side and part of the metal is left blank. The more dramatic the misalignment, while still showing Lincoln's face, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there are struck-through errors, where something like a piece of cloth or grease gets between the die and the coin blank during minting. This causes weird indentations or missing parts of the design, something that might look like damage, but is actually a factory flaw that adds value. Some collectors have even discovered wrong planchet errors, where a penny was mistakenly struck on a dime blank or other foreign coin blank. These coins often have a silvery tone instead of copper and are incredibly rare. And let's not forget the die cracks and cuts, where parts of the die break during minting, leaving raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin. These flaws, while small, can make a huge difference in value, especially if they appear in a prominent area of the coin. So how can you tell if your 1966 penny is worth more than face value? First, examine it closely under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom feature and check the lettering, date, and edges. Does anything look doubled? Off-center? Unusual? Then check the coin's overall condition. Does it still shine? Are the details crisp? If so, you might have something worth submitting to a professional coin grading service. The truth is, most 1966 pennies won't be worth much more than a cent, but a small number of them, because of their errors, perfect condition, or unique traits, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for. One such 1966 Lincoln penny, featuring a rare double die error and graded at the highest mint state levels. Stunned collectors and sold at auction for a jaw-dropping total of $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. $77,000 US dollars for a single penny. So the next time you find a 1966 penny in your change, don't just toss it in the jar. Take a closer look. That little copper coin could be a life-changing discovery. Top 5, we're diving into a very interesting piece of American coinage that you may have overlooked for years, the 1967 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another old cent tossed into jars, slipped under couch cushions, or forgotten in dusty drawers. But there's a reason collectors all over the world are talking about this one. Because hidden among the millions of 1967 Lincoln pennies are rare versions, some with mistakes, some in perfect condition, that can be worth thousands. In fact, one of these little coins has sold for an unbelievable $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So sit back, grab your coin jar, and listen closely. Because the next time you look at a 1967 penny, you might just be looking at a fortune. Let's rewind to 1967 for a moment. The Beatles were at the top of the charts, the Vietnam War dominated headlines, and America was racing toward the moon. In the world of coinage, something unusual was happening. From 1965 through 1967, the U.S. Mint was trying to stop people from hoarding coins due to the removal of silver in dimes and quarters. As part of this effort, they removed all mint marks from coins during this 3-year period, including the Lincoln cent. That means whether your 1967 penny was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it carries no mint mark at all. That alone makes it part of a unique era in U.S. coin history. But here's where things get really exciting, because while most 1967 Lincoln pennies are common, some were struck with errors or have survived in exceptional condition, making them incredibly valuable to collectors today. Let's talk about the first thing every collector looks for. Errors point. One of the most famous and most valuable errors is the double die. This happens when the coin design is struck twice, but slightly misaligned, leading to noticeable doubling in the letters or numbers. If you spot doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date 1967, you might have a double die error, and that's like hitting the mini lottery in coin collecting. Next up is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't positioned correctly during minting, and the design gets stamped off-center. If your 1967 penny has part of the design missing and a blank crescent along the edge, especially if Lincoln's portrait is still visible, that coin just became a lot more interesting and a lot more valuable. Another rare and fascinating error is when a penny is struck on the wrong planchet. That means it was accidentally minted on the wrong metal, like a dime blank. These are rare, and collectors absolutely love them. A 1967 penny that's the wrong weight, the wrong color, or even the wrong size could be one of these mistake coins, and it could fetch big money. And don't forget die cracks, cuds, and clipped planchets. Small flaws in the coin structure that happen during production. They may look like damage, but to a trained eye, they're signs of authenticity and rarity. Now, beyond errors, there's another factor that can send the value of a 1967 penny through the roof: condition. Most of these coins have been in circulation for decades. They've been rubbed, scratched, dropped, and aged. But a small number were carefully preserved, either by collectors or just by pure luck, and are in what we call mint state condition. These coins have a rich shine, no signs of wear, and their design is crisp and flawless. The higher the grade, the higher the value, and when you combine mint condition with a rare error, that's when you get something truly special. So how do you know if your 1967 penny is one of these rare finds? Start by checking for doubling on the text or numbers. Look at the edges. Are they centered perfectly, or is something off? Feel the weight. Examine the color. If anything seems unusual, it could be a sign you've got a rare error. And if your coin looks brand new, without scratches or wear, it could be worth getting professionally graded. For coin collectors, the 1967 Lincoln penny is more than just another coin. It's a symbol of a fascinating time in U.S. history. It's a bridge between the silver coin era and modern coinage. It's part of the no mint mark mystery, and it holds surprises that even seasoned collectors are still discovering today. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for. A 1967 Lincoln penny, discovered with a rare double die error and preserved in exceptional mint state condition, was evaluated by professional graders and eventually sold at a public auction. The final selling price? A staggering $76,000. Yes, that's right. $76,000 US dollars for a single penny. So if you're holding on to a few old coins, now is the perfect time to check them. That 1967 Lincoln penny sitting in your drawer just might be one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of this powerful little penny, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another incredible coin story. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the smallest coin holds the biggest surprise.